When you think of knights, it's all gallant jousts, shining armour, and rescuing damsels in distress, right? Well, Gotz von Berlichingen wasn't that type of knight. In fact, he was the bloke you didn't want to see riding toward your castle, because chances are, he wasn't stopping for a friendly chat. This guy fought wars, challenged kings, and somehow managed to turn losing a hand into the most metal thing, literally. Gotz didn't just survive a cannonball tearing through his arm, he came back swinging with an iron fist, straight out of a Marvel medieval nightmare. It wasn't just a prosthetic, it was a statement. You can't stop me. This story is equal parts inspiring, brutal, and let's be honest, a bit unnerving. Let's get into it. It was 1504 and Gotz was doing what he did best, getting stuck into a scrap. He was in the thick of a siege when a cannon roared and a ball of iron ripped through his arm. That's the thing about cannonballs. They don't care how good you are with a sword. The pain, unimaginable. His men dragged him from the battlefield, his arm mangled beyond saving. This wasn't a wrap it up and walk it off situation. Back then, if a limb went bad, you didn't have much choice. Chop it off or let it kill you. So, off it came. But here's the thing about Gotz. He didn't see this as the end. Instead, he went to a blacksmith and had a hand made. Not a wooden one or something delicate, an iron hand with moving fingers. This wasn't just medieval innovation, this was pure genius. Especially for that point in the timeline. Gotz's iron hand wasn't just practical, it was intimidating. He could grip a sword, hold the reins of a horse, and probably crush an apple if he fancied it. It was a marvel of engineering for the time, but the thing about the hand is it became a symbol, a mix of resilience and, let's face it, menace. Some people whispered about it, saying it gave him unnatural strength, that it wasn't entirely just metal, but these were the same kinds of people who thought sneezing was a sign of the devil, so you take that with a pinch of salt. With his iron hand, Gotz returned to battle and spent the next few decades building a reputation as one of the toughest knights around. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a rebel, ignorant to authority, fought against powerful princes, and earned himself the nickname Gotz of the Iron Hand. One of the more infamous stories about Gotz comes from a battle in a dense forest. It's one thing to fight in open fields, but the woods, that's where things get unsettling. The trees are thick, the lights play tricks on your eyes, and everyone's on edge. Gotz's men were ambushed, outnumbered and surrounded. The enemy thought they had the upper hand, pun not intended. But Gotz wasn't about to let some fancy tactics stop him. He rallied his men, raised his iron fist as a signal to charge. The enemy, they were caught off guard, not because they believed the hand was alive or cursed, but because the sheer force of Gotz's presence was enough to make them hesitate. And in battle, hesitation gets you killed. As Gotz grew older, his battles became fewer, but his legend only grew. By the time he retired, the stories about him were half truths, half myths. He leaned into it though. He even wrote an autobiography where he told his side of the story. Unsurprisingly, it painted him in a pretty heroic light. But the Iron Hand, that was real. And for those who faced him in battle, it was a sight they never forgot. Gotz von Berlichingen wasn't a hero in the fairy tale sense. He was rough, rebellious, and probably a bit terrifying if you crossed him. But his story is proof that even when life knocks you down, like say, with a cannonball, you get back up and you get creative. Let me know what you think of the iron-handed legend in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Just remember, never bring a sword to an iron fist fight.